Shut up.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page, and this is our first Beyond the Bell of the month of April. Can you believe that, guys? I've been slacking. I don't know what to tell you. I've been busy guy. It's going to be a fun show tonight. I cannot wait to sit down and have this conversation. But before we get there, Southern California was really good to us for Chapter 3 last weekend, guys. I am currently editing the show. I should have that out and available by next weekend. We had 9 big matches filled with SoCal's best and our own Dallas Dash. Tore it up all weekend long. Millennium Pro on Friday night. We were at our show last Saturday. We were down in San Diego last Sunday for Primal Pro Wrestling. Man, it was fantastic. The hospitality of Millennium Pro Wrestling and Primal Pro Wrestling. Could not ask for anything more out of some collaborators of ours and some friends of ours, and we look forward to making that trip back. Stay tuned on a return date, guys, because that one may be coming. On the backside, there is no rest for the weary. Chapter 4, the Legends Rise, guys. We are legitimately, no lie, 3 weeks away from what is going to be the night that history is made. We are crowning our first heavyweight champion, and it is going to be a night, as I announced earlier today, tournament round match. Matthew Ennis and GMJ are going to be hooking it up. The winner shall advance, and the loser will be going home, and we are all hoping that Ennis takes the loss there because nobody wants to see him in round 2, let me tell you. Also, Yassine Khan, Primal Pro Wrestling, qualified for our tournament over the last weekend at Chapter 3. He'll be in the house. His first round match, Kid Cuda out of Florida. Should be a fun one to take a peek at. I don't know how I feel about Cuda's chances here because Yassine Khan is one big, dangerous dude, and we're going to find out, man. How about this? First round action. Skrilla the Great, Dallas Dash, one-on-one. Skrilla's being sponsored by our own Goth, who seems to be all over the Skrilla bandwagon. Can Skrilla secure the win? And not only that, could he leave Castleberry as our new heavyweight champion? Or is Dallas Dash going to be a man to surprise and shock everybody? Guess we're going to have to find out on the 25th. How about this? This is not a champion or a tournament match. It's not a championship tournament match. It is a match that I am very much looking forward to seeing for the first time ever. 2 guys that you will see signed in the next 3 to 5. And this is a guarantee. You can take it from me. Jake Redondo makes his CCP Podcasting live event debut, and he is taking on Devious Cass, the young indie killer. It is going to be going down live. That is a special attraction match. And, guys, our friends at the establishment, they are once again back with us as Roman, Elias, AK-47 Roman, defends the anti-establishment championship against no avail. As we still have 3 or 4 more matches that we've got to get announced for that. And it is going to be a fantastic show. Special start time of 6:30 versus 7 o'clock. That is in Castleberry, Florida, 296 Anchor Road. Tickets are available at ccppodcasting.com, or you can get them at the door if they're available. I strongly encourage you to grab them early and grab them now because they are selling, and this is going to be a fantastic evening of professional wrestling. Guys, this is going to be a fantastic show. I had totally been waiting for this conversation, and we have set this thing up and have been in conversation for about a year to try and make this happen. And time has finally come. And for those of you out there, and I know that there are a lot of you who have complimented not only the entrance theme that I typically would use at a live event, but as well as our podcasting channel theme song. Well, that came from our guest right here tonight because that's where I heard it. And I practically had to say, hey, man, I need this. I need this. I need this. And I got it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. It is my honor and privilege to sit down from Australia, Pro Wrestling South Australia, the one and only, the man himself, Mr. Colossus. What is going on, brother? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well, Vicky. How you doing, man? Glad to finally be on.
I know, man. I love chatting with you guys anytime I get the opportunity. Obviously, as we talked before we came on the air, Australia is very near and dear to me and to the platform and why we're even here. So to be able to sit down and pick your brain, and I've watched a lot of your stuff over the last couple of years. Obviously, we've had Brady in several times for watch parties, and we always line those up when we can. I'm looking forward to this one, brother. You have no idea. First of all, before we even get started, I got to say thank you for the theme song, bro. Like, when I heard that track, it was, I was like, that's Baker Street. And Brady was on Alive, and he was like, how did you know? I said, I know that riff anywhere.
Yeah. I just came upon it by sheer accident. Went on YouTube. Honestly, like I was trying to find a new theme song. I had like a Dark Orchestra theme song prior,
Yeah.
and then I was changing from like bass to heel or whichever way I went. And growing up, I was a big fan of The Simpsons, and one of my favorite episodes was the Jazz Man.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and because I just love the saxophone, and because I love the saxophone, because of Jazzman, I love Baker Street. And I just happened to go on YouTube trying to find a new theme song, and just type in Baker Street hard rock cover. Went through a couple, didn't really work, and then bam, found it. Found the one, and it was like a 30, 40-second video
Yep.
that just had to end up getting released. So it's amazing,
Yes.
and honestly, it's the best indie theme song in the world.
It absolutely 100% is. And I asked permission. I was like, can I use it? And you're like, I usually would not give this out, but sure.
Anyone else, I would say no.
Well,
But I love what you're doing. I love the content and what you're doing for the platform and for wrestling around the indie scene. It's amazing. So I was more than happy.
Well, I always give credit back. I'm like, you got to thank Colossus out of Australia, guys. You got to thank him. He's the one who made it happen, man. I can't wait to sit down and pick your brain over in chat. Chase Mansfield, I see you, brother. UK Paul, I see you. Guys, if you're loading in, if you have any questions for Colossus, feel free to ask them. I will get them worked in throughout our conversation as we get going here tonight. Big man, I start these things off, man, not where you lace a pair. I like to know when professional wrestling enters your life. What was going on? What drew you in as a fan that even remotely got you thinking about getting into the crazy world of the independent scene?
So pretty much, I had seen up until the ages of like 10, so like 5 to 10, I had seen wrestling. My parent had watched it, so I did see a little bit of it, but I wasn't really hooked. We'd go down to the video store, and for some reason there'd be a lot more WCW than WWF tapes. So I kind of grew up a little bit more in WCW, but I wasn't really hooked. Which is where my weird love for Disco Inferno came in. For some reason, I liked Disco Inferno. It wasn't until SummerSlam 2002 when I saw Shawn Michaels versus Triple H.
Yeah,
that's the match and that's the pay-per-view that got me hooked. So as soon as I saw that, I just ran down, watched everything. Forced my parents to get Foxtel just so I could watch wrestling, and that was a kind of on-off. Sometimes we would have Foxtel, sometimes we wouldn't. So I was doing everything I can online to watch as much as I can. And being a kid in primary school, had a few friends that also liked wrestling. So recess, lunch, I'm the bigger one out of all of them. So I was doing power bombs, all these big moves onto all these scrawny little kids. Growing up, I didn't even know that wrestling was a thing in Australia. It was about when I was 16, where one of my relatives was going off to the local shops to find me like a wrestling t-shirt for my birthday. Couldn't find anything in my size. They were all like the little kids ones. And they just happened to go up to the nearest worker that they found in the clothing section and asked if they had any wrestling stuff. But he said no, unfortunately. But he actually said, hey, I'm actually involved in wrestling, and gave my relative a card and had the company name, had their name, and they gave it to me. So this is back in 2009 when I first figured out that wrestling was even a thing in Australia. And I look at the card, and the card was actually for Riot City Wrestling. So it was like, if your relative loves wrestling, come check out some shows. So I used it. I grabbed the card, go on like Facebook. MySpace was back in the day.
Tom.
And I looked up, if there's any other wrestling companies in Adelaide, because back then Riot City was a bit of a trek away from me when I was being a young kid, not driving or anything. And there actually ended up being another wrestling company that was a lot closer, which was Snake Pit,
Yep.
which is now PWSA. So yeah, because of that, I then went to, I got in contact with some people in that company through MySpace about training and whatnot. And it turned out that one of the guys that actually was in primary school with doing wrestling moves on the oval, recess and lunch, was already involved in wrestling. Axel Impact. Um, Great guy, the most down to earth person. So because I found out that he was involved with snake pits back in the day, I hit him up, and that's pretty much my way into the wrestling in Australia.
So you came in
But
with
yeah,
Snake Pit. You so that
yeah.
and you've kind of through the transitions of PWSA, and I just saw literally I want to say it was like earlier this week they're transitioning back to Snake Pit if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that was a good old April Fool's.
Oh,
Because I was like,
okay, all right.
yeah, we're
Well,
at day ahead, you know,
there you go.
it's everywhere. Every company that I saw was cracking some April Fool's joke. So, and because of like we're the day ahead of you, like it might have not clicked.
It
Like, oh, that's what they're doing. So,
it was
yeah,
definitely a day ahead. I was a day behind. I was like, oh, okay. So like legit, I was trying to find Snake Pit to tag him in a post. And I was like, I can't find him.
I'm,
Fuck it,
I'm
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 done.
pretty sure there's absolutely no intent to go back to the name Snake Pit.
Well, tell them they got
Um,
me. I could have fooled me. I thought it was a thing.
yeah,
Um, well, when
but
you
yeah, no,
go ahead.
growing up, loved wrestling, collecting as much as I could, and yeah, growing up, you know, my favorite wrestler was Randy Orton. So, and I was one of those kids where, you know, being like 10 years old, I would see DX, you know, do the choppers. I'd be doing the chopper at school, you know, Triple H spitting the water, so I'd be spitting water out of school. So definitely got myself in a little bit of trouble. But, you know, as a kid, you just don't care.
Yeah, you,
You know,
well,
you love it, you want to do it, you want to be it.
that's it. That's where it usually started. That's where it started with me. I mean, I got in the ring in '99 was when I debuted. I went through 2005 to early 2006. But when you decide now that you want to do something like this and you're going to make this move, obviously there's strengths and weaknesses that come along with that. What were some of the strengths that you had when you were getting into chaining that maybe came a little naturally to you? And on the backside of that, what were some things that you had to work on?
Well, the strength, I was definitely a larger kid. So,
Sure.
you know, the physical side of it wouldn't have been the strength for me. Honestly, the strength would have been like knowing that I've just studied wrestling for a very, very long time, you know, and I kind of, yeah, it's hard to put into words, but um, just because I watched it, you know, I kind of knew like, oh, this is, you know, what they're doing, you know. You don't just go out there and just do moves for the sake of doing moves, you know, you got to tell a story. And that's something as well that along the way over the years, I just got better at. It just became natural instinct. Um, definitely the weaknesses was the physical side of things, you know. Asked me to do a couple of things I might be able to do well, but he asked me to do a role, and I wouldn't do the prettiest role at all. It'd be the ugliest role you've ever seen. So for some reason, like the easier stuff to do was always the hardest stuff for me.
Well, it's but
But there was a lot of guidance there, you know, being there with someone that I've known for like 10 years at that point from primary school. He was always there to guide me, and there was a lot of people there back in Snake Pit days that were very good trainers. So,
well,
you know, someone like me who couldn't do the physical stuff, you know, they don't last that long, you know, last a few months, but it's all about determination, perseverance. You know, you really want this. Like, I love wrestling, but at the same time, I also love entertaining people. And, you know, entertaining the people that love what I love as well. Just, it's amazing. It's amazing to see their reactions, their faces change, their emotions change. You know, that's why we're in it. You know, to entertain the people. You know, we may love wrestling, but if there's no one in that crowd, it's just wrestling in an empty building. You know, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
facts.
Yeah,
Well, over in chat, let me ask these questions real quick that have already popped in. Chase Mansfield out in Southern California. I was commentating with him all weekend last weekend. It's a fantastic guy. It says, "What drives you as a pro wrestler?" And on the backside of that, is there a goal that you want to accomplish with your time in the ring?
just to pretty much do it as long as I can. You know, do what I love as long as I can. And if you watch, you know, my matches, you know, not every single match has to be all this hardcore, like flippy whippy, you know, going the whole lot. You know, you might have, you know, 4 shows in like 4 month period, and you don't have to work the same way every single time. So just knowing that I can do it as long as I can, and I debuted May 2010. So next month will be up to 16 years, and you know, being a big guy in Australia, a lot of big guys do not last that long. So I want to kind of be remembered as the big guy that was able to do it. Was able to prove that he can go the mile. So
16 years deep, you're already, stamping that ticket, if you will. On the backside of that,
yeah,
go ahead.
if I can get to 20, I'll be pretty happy.
Well,
There's nothing.
20-year
Yeah, at
anniversary,
this point,
Colossus needs to win a championship again. That's all I'm saying. That's
uh,
it. That's all I'm saying. 20 years of Colossus championship run one more time.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. When I come back, I've been off since January.
Yep.
Got a couple of broken ribs at the moment. So when I do come back, I know exactly what I'm gunning for. So
He's got another question for you too, and then I'm gonna come around to UK Paul's. He says, who do you watch currently on the scene that gives you any ideas? Like anybody out there now on the independent scene that you study, tape study, if you will.
not particularly like one person independently, like in Australia. Um, I do watch other companies, shows, from on a regular basis. So I do like seeing what kind of products they put out. It's also good to see, what the fans react to when the other companies are putting on what other characters are putting on. And it's also amazing to see the difference between the SA fans and the interstate fans. It's a totally different aspect. Like I've, traveled interstate and just being in front of a whole different crowd that does not know anything about you, it's an amazing feeling,
Well,
just by them making noise interstate when you're out there. And there are a lot of people that I not so much get ideas from, but look up to. People that have been here for quite a long time, like in PWSA. A few of the people that I really look up to and I really take advice from time to time. A big one is actually Michael Weaver.
oh yeah,
Very, very smart person. Knows exactly what he's doing. So, you know, it isn't so much me watching a particular person and getting ideas from what they're doing, but it's more so as a whole watching all the companies that I can. So yeah, there definitely are a handful of people, that I get advice from. So and Michael Weaver is one of them. Um, in PWSA, the people that I look up to, people like Ace Wilson,
mm-hmm.
you got Jake Viper, Johnny Ruddick, unfortunately, ticking me off at the moment. But yeah, those guys I look up to when it comes to what they're doing in the ring. Those are people that have been there longer than I have. So, if I can do it for the same amount of time that they're doing it, I'd be ecstatic.
Well, a minute ago, you had mentioned about, Riot City obviously was where you had came across first, and then obviously PWSA or Snake Pit was closer to you at the time. Riot's where we started, to be perfectly fair. And I mean, I'm sure you're already aware of this. I tell the story anytime I can. I got stoned and threw a dart at a map on the wall and it landed in Australia. And I just Googled top independent wrestling companies in Australia, and that was the first thing that popped up. How I found PWSA was actually through Redshaw, because Redshaw is who I found in Riot that initially drew me in, right? And as I looked up some stuff, I saw PWSA. I was like, what is this? And then I saw there were a couple of full shows. So we threw that stuff out there as well. And then off to the races we go. And here we are now, just a couple of years later, and following along with the product and being able to see your run over the last couple of years has just been fun. Really and truly. It's been fun. I went from hating you to fucking loving you in the span of 2 years. And it's just so strange how professional wrestling is. And on your scene specifically, when you're breaking in and you're trying to figure this thing out, let's go back a little further to your debut as an example. Like, you did all the work to get there. What was your debut like when you walked out through the curtain for the first time?
So back in the day, like 15, 20 years ago, PWSA or Snake Pit back in the day, did like birthday party shows. And birthday party shows were amazing because that's, that was where you can debut the new guys. You can try different things that you wouldn't usually try on the main show. So I'm pretty sure that my debut was probably a little bit earlier than what it could have been. Um, it was a birthday party show, and I knew the person that, they had the birthday party for. So, it was kind of like, I'd really like to be on this show. I'd really like to see them watch me wrestle. So, yeah, look, it probably was a bit too early, a couple of months early, but, especially being a birthday party crowd, so the whole crowd is a whole bunch of, family and friends. So, just going and doing my first match in front of people that are all like-minded and just there to have a good time, the more noise they made, the more you just get into it. And, I was probably wearing like, Kmart pants, plain t-shirt,
I've
something that
been there.
wasn't ready to put on the main show. So yeah, I definitely was nervous, doing the first match. And, it took quite a while for me to get over those nerves, you know. But, somehow, along the way, it just clicks, You're like, holy crap, I get it. When you're first starting, having your first match, the first match I had was actually against Johnny Reddy at the birthday party. And, Johnny's a character, he loves to just stuff with you. So, and he won't, you won't know what's coming. So, being a 16-year-old having your first match and you don't know exactly what to expect, that was kind of daunting. But, as long as the crowd loved it, then, something's happening, And everyone, even to this day, everyone can improve and get better, So as back when I was 16, just hearing them laugh and point and, whatever cheer, it just makes you feel good. So,
Well, I remember
yeah,
when I started, I was 17. So I was legit just a year ahead of you when I started. And I can remember like the first time I walked through the curtain, I was scared shitless. It didn't go away until probably when the bell rang. And even then, I think it only went away because I was focusing on what the fuck I was doing and trying not to fuck
yeah,
up more than I did. Because granted, I did trip over the steps and the ring ropes getting into the ring on my debut. So those are it's but what I love about this, and now you said something again earlier that I want to follow back up on. And again, I have ADHD, so you have to forgive me. But wrestling, what
don't
I
we all?
love about wrestling is being able to not know. So you don't know what's going to work until you go out there and you try.
Yeah,
You don't know what's going to happen until you go out there and you legit you gotta give it a shot. It's sink or swim every time
yeah,
you walk out through the curtain for the most part while you're fine tuning everything. And then something on the backside of that you said too that I want to acknowledge is like I'm going to reference like our live events, right? I do this like totally different than what a lot of people would do. I use a couple of local guys, but our platform has always been finding those hidden gems, finding those guys that
yeah,
you should be watching, right, and bringing them to you too. One of the most gratifying things thus far, and we're only 3 shows deep, is being able to take people and bring them to a market where they are not familiar. It's like when you're traveling interstate and you're going to a different audience. That audience
yeah,
doesn't know who they are when they walk through the curtain, but damn if they don't know who they are when they leave. And listening to the crowd, they'll walk out to crickets, but when they're leaving, there's a standing ovation. Like you've blown the minds of the audience that have paid their
yeah,
ticket. And to be able to witness some of that more over the last several months, it's just one of those things. It's like, this is why I love fucking professional wrestling. It's being able to take
yeah,
people, put them in new places. It's like these conversations, really bring you guys in here, introduce you to our audience. Our audience will fucking follow, and then here we go. Then they start sharing, and then it's that's the win, and that's the good side of professional wrestling. That's the side of professional wrestling I want to be a part of.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, one of the main things as, a performer is to make the crowd want more.
Sure.
You want to make them want to come back. Like you said, you go out there at cricket, you leave and they're cheering. 100%, they've done the exact same thing right. So, it doesn't exactly, yeah, like, it doesn't matter exactly what you do in that ring. There's a lot of ways to do wrestling. A lot of people have different sorts of wrestling. But if you're able to make that crowd want to come back, they want to pay to come watch you wrestle, then you've done it right. So
100%. And something that I want to talk to you about, really, because you've been around for 16 years. It's kind of the growth in Australia, because I've talked to some vets from all over the country down there, and everybody has a little different perspective on things. And like for me, I think it's cool as shit now that the light of the professional wrestling world, if you will, shines down on Australia a couple times a year. Now you've got the major
yeah,
companies that are coming down at least once a year. AEW will be there, and WWE, which only means, at least in the WWE's case, when they're coming, they're doing camps, they're doing tryouts, which means that there's an opportunity for somebody to get picked up. And for me, it's like I don't give a fuck who gets picked up as long as somebody gets picked up, because wherever they get picked up from, a light will go to. And if one light goes there, guess what? The same fucking thing that happened when we fell into Riot City. This is good. What else is there?
yeah,
And then you start exploring, and that light just it starts getting brighter and brighter. And I say it to anybody, and promoters here in the States, and even promoters internationally: stop sleeping on Australia. Stop sleeping on Australia, because you guys are doing some really good shit. And the question is, over the last 16 years, when you came in where business was at to where it is now, because it's getting better and better and better. What's that evolution look like from your eyes? How have you seen the progression of professional wrestling in the country of Australia on the independent scene?
well, I can definitely say right now, at this very moment, I don't think Australia's ever thrived as much as it has. That's not just SA. That's all the states. I think SA right now is thriving really, really well. When I first started, 16 years old, I was still a small kid, even though I was a bigger kid. You see all these large characters, all these big guys, and I thought there was aura everywhere. No matter who you looked at, there was aura. And then it kind of died down a little bit, I reckon. But I reckon like the last, 7 years, 5 to 7 years, you know, everywhere in Australia's been thriving. You got a couple of loose ends around the place, but like you said, there's a lot of great wrestlers, great characters. When WWE comes down or whoever comes down, you know, just because you're, the most physically gifted person, it doesn't mean that you're going to get picked up. I can imagine that WWE would want someone that isn't like someone, they can just easily get somewhere else. They want something different, something that they can mold into their own. So, yeah, especially with WWE coming down. Now, I went down to Perth
Mm-hmm.
when WWE came down, and it was massive. There was shows going on everywhere. There were, wrestlers from, like WWE going to events, you know. So I would say 100% right now, this very moment, Australian wrestling has never been greater.
Well,
So, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
well, when you got talents that are going to these shows, they're going as fans, number one, because they want to see what's going on. But all you got to do is impress. Something that I tell people all the time:
Yeah,
you just got to be seen by the right person at the right time at the right place. And
100%.
like with our live events, I will live stream them when I can, because we have some producer friends that are attached to the E and maybe a W that like to check in and see what we're doing, and what, because we do have our fingers on the pulse of independent wrestling pretty much all over the world. What started with 3 people on the channel, we're up to like 10, and they're scattered
Amazing.
sporadically in all parts of the world for a reason, because there's so much good shit everywhere. And Australia is still my go-to, and I know I'll get heat for that here in the States. I don't give a fuck. I said it and I meant it, because that's what drew me in. That's what drew me back into professional wrestling, back into the independent scene, if you will. And your longevity there, man, you've had a lot of really cool moments that have come along the way. Like, what are some of your standout moments thus far?
Just there is one in particular, but I'll get to that one last. Just being able to travel interstate,
Yeah.
wrestle with different people, work with other crowds. I've traveled interstate a lot with Corviday,
Yeah.
and amazing guy as well, amazing character. And yeah, I've also teamed up with him when we've gone into state. So that's been amazing to travel with someone that you're really, really good friends with. Um, One is obviously WWE when I came down to Perth, it was amazing to see just all the independent wrestlers come together. There were shows where you had 8 different company of wrestlers on the one show. So that was really good to see. Um, a really weird one was when I was 16, we had 2010. I can't remember how it got hooked up, but we actually had our Snow come down and do like a seminar at a Snake Pit, and he was stayed and watched it first. And I just finished high school, so like I just finished school for that day. Go to the seminar, and I'm not falling asleep, but I'm looking like I'm pretty tired while he was talking and doing the seminar. And he actually paused, and he gave me the moniker, the Comatose Kid. And it's the weirdest thing, but to get a moniker from someone like Al Snow that you watched growing up, and as a kid, I was running around, 10 years old primary school, yelling out head for some reason. So, so yeah, to get a moniker from someone that I grew up watching was a weird feeling, but an amazing feeling that I love telling even to this day. Um, the one thing that it when I had my world title run and I had that match against Blase, um, the story that we told was just pretty much, David versus Goliath.
Yep.
He can't lift me throughout the whole story. And then when you have that culmination, and he finally did lift me, the crowd goes crazy. Now, one thing that match was betting on was him being able to give me the pole driver. If he wasn't able to give me the pole driver, then it would not have been as good of a climax. And get up there, I'm upside down. I'm a giant upside down. It was freaky. But the reaction from that crowd when the 1, 2, 3 hit, even though I lost, just the reaction was the biggest noise I've ever heard. And in that moment, I just had a massive sigh of relief. Not because I lost, but because everything that we had worked towards, the biggest payoff. The crowd, it's exactly what the crowd wanted. So yeah, just in that moment of the 1, 2, 3, I would say right now is my biggest achievement.
And
Just,
I'm glad that you
feeling.
bring up that match. I don't mean to step on you. I'm so sorry. You guys, for those of you,
Yeah.
if you've not seen Colossus before, brother's like 6'5". Is that right? 6'5", 6'6", or you taller than that? 6'6"?
6'6", yeah.
Yeah, 6'6", guys. He's a big dude. And I remember when we were watching that back, I lost my shit. And it's rare that I lose my shit on a stream, but to see that visual and you get picked up like that and pile driven and the reaction from the crowd, you're 100% correct. Means that you had them right there. And as a performer and as a professional wrestler, that's where you want them all the time. To be a part of that, and knowing obviously when that 3 count happened, this is the biggest success ever. What went on behind that curtain when you walk back through it? Because obviously it's important. It stands the test of time with you right now as the big highlight. So I'm kind of curious, what was that reaction from the locker room when you walk back through after conducting business, if you will?
Well, obviously I wasn't backstage, so I couldn't have seen their, actual reaction in that moment.
Sure.
But it blew the roof off. There was some of them that were reposting the actual video of the finish on Facebook and saying how loud the crowd was. One of, in my time, it's easily top 5 reactions that crowd has ever made. Not just, for me, but for the whole company. It is something that I do go back and watch from time to time, the final 3 minutes. I can't remember anything else we did in that match apart from the final 3 minutes. It is something that I like to watch from time to time and, just reminisce. Because even to say, like, it was only, 2 years ago it happened now?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that long ago. And yeah, definitely haven't heard anything like it since. And it was a while since we had heard anything like it beforehand. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I popped everyone backstage. No one was expecting me to go full straight up for that pile driver. I've seen a lot of people that are a lot smaller than me with the exact same guy go for the pile driver, and it does not work. And you know, Blase is one strong mother chucker. So pound for pound, he was one of the strongest ones backstage. So if anyone can pile drive me, it's Blase. And it's just because it's so short as well. I had to bend down so far down. So it's such an awkward position. But once I jumped and he held me there, it was amazing. So I'm quite proud of it.
I was holding my breath until I saw like movement. I was like, oh, thank God. Because again, like this is a lot. It's a lot of weight crashing down, and I always tell people one, half an inch or a quarter of an inch either way can break a neck. Like this is legit, guys. If you don't know what you're doing, don't fucking do it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And coming
it was definitely a scary thing.
Man, I haven't been in the ring in 20 years, brother. And what fun fact, spoiler for you guys. September, I'm getting back in the ring for the first time in 2 decades, and I'm scared shitless.
Awesome.
Because I ain't done this in 20 years. I start bumping in the ring in 2 weeks. I've dropped 20 pounds. I'm looking to drop another 15. And we're going to see what'll happen. I hadn't done this in 20 years, but again, I'm scared. There's pieces of me that are like, can I do this? Can I still do this? Or can I do this at the level that I once did this? Because a lot can change and a lot transpires. And I don't know. It's just one of those questions that I will ask myself until it's over. And then if I stink up the joint, I'm going to tell you I told you so. And then we'll go from there.
I can definitely tell you that, for me personally, I reckon the nerves will probably be there until that moment you step out through those curtains.
Well, you know what's crazy?
Even to this day for me.
I thought that. I thought that at chapter 1, as I wasn't going to get in the ring. And we had got a last minute sponsor of a cancer patient. And like when I mean last minute, I mean within a week of the show. So I had a decision to make. And I exited professional wrestling because I fell into the dark side of professional wrestling, and I needed to go. And ultimately, when I got that information, I was like, "Fuck!" Like I can do this in front of the ring. I can do this behind. I can do this anywhere. There was a moment when I stepped up on the apron that I don't know, but when I stepped through the ropes. So weird. Talk about a switch flipping. I left a heel. All of a sudden, I've got people chanting and cheering for me. Then it went from, okay, I have a microphone in my hand to, why the fuck are you cheering me? And I almost cut a heel promo. But that's what got me back into the ring was just to make this announcement that we were dedicating the show to this kid. It wasn't just a sponsorship at this point. Like this, we're doing the show for you, brother.
Yeah.
One of those kind of situations. And it brought me back in. And then ever since then, chapter 2, no problem. Chapter 3, no problem. In a new city, in a new state where I should be nervous. We flew halfway across the country to California to do a show. And I wasn't. So I'm I think when it comes down to it, I think it's just me in my head, but we're all that way at the end of the day.
100%.
Let me go over to chat real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Even to this day, 16 years into it, I'm still nervous until I go out through those curtains. That is probably more so trying to remember what you're doing. Yeah. And it's even worse when you're in the upper card of the main event, where you've got the whole show just pondering in your own thoughts. Is this going to happen? Is this going to work? But like you said earlier, when I was a little kid, planning matches, you're trying to plan every single thing you're doing. And that's just not the right way to go about it. You can plan, this and that, but there's a lot of middle stuff that you want to leave open for the crowd to, the crowd can make the match. As weird as it sounds, how they act is,
it's not weird.
Yeah.
It's not.
You have to go off by them.
Facts. Yeah. See? Thank you, because my day people thought I was fucking crazy because they'd be like, "Hey, let's do this, and no." Yeah. How about no? How about we listen to the crowd, and if it makes sense, we'll do it. And I think that was the thing that separated me back in that day, because I think I was one of the only guys that was thinking like that, because I was old school mentality, right? Like I got in with an old school trainer. Listen to the crowd, man. They're gonna tell you. Go back to your match with Blase as a prime fucking example. They're going to tell you that you made the right decision or you made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
The pile driver spot, 3 count, right decision was made. The crowd told you that. You know what I mean? If it would have been anything else, would you have gotten the same reaction? Who knows? You don't. But you can't work, or I can't. Some people, maybe they can. I can't work spot A, spot B, spot C, spot D, spot E. Give me two or three things and let's go and let's listen. Even now, fun fact, did a spot at our California show that hasn't aired yet. I got clocked in the back of the head. First physical deal that I've done. And brother was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. Like, no, just fucking slide in the ring and hit me from behind, bro. Yeah. That's all you got to do. I'm telling you, that's all you're going to have to do. They're going to fucking hate you. I prompt. And they did. And he was like, man, I thought I was going to have to do a little bit more. Nope. Less is more, guys. Less is more.
Yeah, 100%. When you're growing up as a kid, you think more is more. But there does come a time where you do realize that less is more. And, the older generation, when you're growing up, may tell you that less is more. And you may be like, I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to go out there and do whippy powerbomb. But yeah, there is a time where you do realize that less is more. And that's exactly why I've been able to do this for as long as I have. Mm-hmm. I don't go out there and do every single move that I see. You want to do, you want to have your handful of moves that you do, that when the crowd sees that move, they know it's you. And yeah, so it's just, amazing. PWSA is very crowd driven, very storyline driven. There are companies that are very, physical wrestling driven, and that's okay. They might have their crowd that enjoy that, but where I'm at PWSA, we're very crowd driven, and the crowd's coming and they're loving every single second of it.
As well they should. You guys have been, kind of cooking on all cylinders. And what I love from a distance is just being able to see the growth, being able to see how far it's come. Even with small stuff, like I think we had Brady on in one of the shows, the production had changed. As soon as the show started, I was like, yeah, new lights. He was like, thanks for noticing. Of course. But you got new this.
Yeah.
This sounds better. The cameras look better. We just upgraded our cam. Yeah, well, it's working. And these are the kind of steps that you need to be taking.
Yeah, it's definitely, the amount of time and effort that someone like Brady has put in for this company is amazing. And we have him to thank for a lot. Not just him, but, the whole Roberts family, Paul, their sister, Brady's sister does the camera stuff. And their own, Brady and his sister are starting their own camera production company now, filming production. So they've got a lot going on. And so they've definitely done a lot for this company over the years. And no amount of words that I could give them will, express how much I'm actually grateful for what they do for the company.
I've had Brady on. I'm waiting for Paul. I'm waiting on the voice. See,
you're gonna get him.
We have a date.
We'll get that.
We have a date at some point that it'll happen, and then I'll mark out like a son of a bitch. I ain't gonna lie. Over in chat real quick, let me go over to UK Paul had a question for you. He says, are there any match types that you haven't done that you want to do?
Oh, match types I haven't done. All right. Well, I have done this match type. I reckon I've done it once, and it was a tag team match. And I was definitely not where I was now. And I was a steel cage. I just love the look of the steel cage, the stories that you can tell of the steel cage. Mm-hmm. So yeah, even though I've done it once and it was probably like 10 years ago, I was definitely still young and still getting, into it at that point. So if I was to do a steel cage match now, I reckon I'd blow the roof off. Just the story that you'd be able to tell in that place. And honestly, being so tall, I'm probably already halfway up the cage already. So Yeah, if I win a match, steel cage is there. Um, look, I've only done a handful of hardcore matches, and they're always fun. Like, I took a bump on a massive pile of thumbtacks one time. I was shitting myself before I like landed. It ended up being nothing. I barely felt the thumbtack bit. So that was just like a little tease into what you can do into hardcore matches. And I don't think I've probably done one or two since, but just a casual hardcore match. Anything where if the story that you're telling and the feud you're in, if the match type fits that story, I'm more than happy to do it any match type. So yeah, definitely Steel Cage is probably the number one that sticks out to me. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if I walked in a steel cage and I'm looking across the ring at Colossus, I'm shitting my pants, and I'm not even making it to the cage, bro. I'm going the other direction. How do you win that? You walk, you go the other fucking way. That's how. I don't know if I want any
Well,
part of
one leg
that.
on top and I'm done. Yeah. So yeah, no, growing up, I reckon one of the first gimmick matches I saw in WWE was the Elimination Chamber. So because of the Elimination Chamber, I got into the Steel Cage, and I've just loved the Steel Cage ever since.
Yeah,
So, I definitely love to do one of those again. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
yeah. I value my life. I
But I'm
don't
gonna
want any
push
part
it.
of that.
I'll push it.
Oh, how's it going? What we got? The cheesiest man. That is Brady Roberts, buddy. We were just talking about you.
Oh,
Your ears
Brady
burning? Literally, we're just
is
talking about you. He missed it by about
should
2
be getting
minutes.
ready for the show we're doing today.
What's
So,
that?
yeah, we got a show on tonight.
You got a show tonight?
Yeah, we got a show on tonight. So rest up for a bit after this and head on down. So I'll be seeing Brady later.
Well, I need to see Brady again. We got some more shows that we got to get watching, man. Let me ask you this though.
Yeah, look.
You mentioned that you're currently injured, you're on the mend, if you will. Any kind of updates, any kind of prognosis on that you can or want to
So,
discuss? You absolutely do not have to under any circumstance.
yeah, no, so this was in January. I had Magni splashed me 3 times and cracked a couple of my ribs and did not feel good whatsoever. So, look, I'm not just ready to get back into it. Probably about 6 months in total. Probably like 4 before I can start getting working at it again, working physically. But yeah, so probably about July, August is when I'm ready to get back in the ring. So, but right now I'm every time I turn my head, turn my body, turn my legs, it hurts. So yeah, good old Magni, John, Jack, the whole crew that they've got going on, definitely definitely did me up good.
So it sounds like Magni deserves an ass whipping, is what it sounds like. And it sounds like that Colossus has his eyes peeled and set and sights set on some revenge, if you will. And I am totally here fucking for it if that is the direction that we want to go. Because I saw you guys' first fight. Now, and I'm not sure if that was the last fight that you guys had. Both of you guys are fucking monsters. Monsters in this
Wait,
ring.
which one was that one that you saw?
Brady, you're in chat. Which one did we see? He'll be able to tell me because I watch a lot of wrestling, guys. It's a lot.
Was that a Clash of the Titans too?
I feel like
Gonna
it
guess.
was. The championship was on the line. It was
Yeah,
Clash.
so that would have been in August. Yeah, that
Okay.
would have been in August last year, I reckon. Me and Magni went at it again in December. So
Okay.
yeah, we did have one a couple of months ago.
Okay. So I have not seen the
So,
rematch. So, but at the end of the day,
that's,
Magni, you've got an ass whipping coming from Colossus. I'm just telling you.
I can tell you right now that when you and Brady do get back into the next watch along, just go straight to December. Yeah, it's definitely something you need to see. So
Brady says December show is one.
I'm looking forward to seeing your reaction.
He says December show is 100% next on our watch list. So that's we just need to set the date, brother. We'll make that happen so we can get in here and get caught up.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
I expect it tomorrow.
when with obviously, if you're not going to be able to make it back till August, I was going to say, what kind of goals do you have for 2026? But I think we just summed that one up by kicking Magny's ass and anyone that's attached to it. And I'm here for that, by the way. So, I mean, put your foot all the way up to the
This is a
kneecap,
very bad
brother,
place to go.
all the way to the knee with that foot when you get him in the ring, because brother deserves an ass kicking.
Well, don't talk about kneecaps.
Oh no,
I've
well,
had both my kneecaps popped out before, and both at separate times. Well, I think the first one was just a clash of my knee against someone else's knee. Kind of popped out for like 10 seconds, I reckon. Popped itself back in, and to this day, this was like 5 years ago. I'm still feeling it. If I sit down for more than 5 minutes, as soon as I get up, it will be a bit stiff for about 10 seconds, and I'm all good to go. So yeah, definitely the kneecap popping out is not fun.
no.
So, and thankfully, I haven't had too many injuries along the way. The most serious thing I've ever had over the 16 years was a fractured hand. So I had kind of punched a steel chair in the ring,
Oops.
and with the adrenaline that's going through you, you don't feel it. You just think it's just because you punched a chair. So I actually punched the chair twice, and it did hurt, but I didn't think nothing of it until I went backstage and saw that one of my fingers was actually overlapping the other finger. So, and yeah, it was definitely not good, especially since I had to keep on going to work. I think I only had like 3 days off, and it took about a whole month for it to recover. So going to work with that was not fun at all. Apart from that, honestly, the kneecaps and the fractured hand, I've been pretty injury safe the last 16 years. You may wake up a little sore, but it's just battle wounds from doing what you love. So yeah, no, thankfully I've been able to keep injury free.
Let me ask you
Apart
this.
from now.
Apart from now, yeah, that's not your fault, by the way. Magny ass whipping coming.
Yeah,
Let me ask you
I'm
this:
getting there.
with your longevity with PWSA and being able to see how far it's come and to be an integral part of that, where would you like to see it be going over the next year or so? Because again, I'm only going to speak for the 2 years that I've been following it. The growth seems to be there, and it seems like it's starting to really pick up some steam. So where do you see it? Where do you see PWSA headed in the next year or so?
Honestly, like back when I first started, we used to do, we'd have the one base where we do like the training and some shows, but we also traveled quite a lot around SA. And being young, I loved the fact that we got to travel, and I was here, there, and everywhere back in the day. So at the moment, we're doing shows based in the one place, and I would think it's amazing if we can go back to times where we were traveling a bit more, going more down south, or you never know what kind of fans you can bring in when you do travel.
Sure.
So you don't want to be stuck in the one bubble of fans. You want to do as much exposure as you can, and I think that's what traveling around state will help bring.
Well, I just flew fucking, I don't know, across the country here for a show. So I totally get getting out there and traveling and trying to get some stuff done and seeing some things happen. And I would love to see that too. Don't get me wrong. I love the community center. I think it's a great spot. I think you guys get a really good crowd there. But to go out there and test the merit and to test what's going on and to test, just on the draw ability, right? Really, it's a risk. Don't get me wrong, because a man who's financially funding all of our live events with a business partner of mine, it's all a risk. But the risk, is almost worth the reward. Because again, for me, I always tell the guys when we meet with everybody before the show, I don't care how many people walk through the door, because that's not my end game. My end game is to put you in front of people, and to put you in front of people you haven't seen you before, so that they can be exposed to what you're doing. And that's the win for me. And I think that could be the win there for you guys too. And then on the backside, you do never know. You walk into a sellout in a new spot. Like, it's just one of those things. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see something like that happen for sure.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. The place that we do put on the show, it's a decent sized place, but obviously it can only fit so many people,
Sure.
And we've had times where it has sold out, and people, had to stand and they don't mind seeing, but it would be good to see when we are putting on those bigger events. Like we do Super Slam. It'd be nice to see if we're able to find a place that can fit a lot more and try to pack those out. So yeah, but where we're at the moment, I'm loving it. The crowd's loving it. It's a great place to be, and it's very central. So it's a nice area for people to come from every direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely traveling, and definitely when we're putting on a bigger event, if we can get a bigger venue. So
I want to see it. That's gonna be a manifestation goal that I will start throwing out there for a bigger venue for some of these bigger events, because I would love for you guys to get a bigger crowd. I mean, at the end of the day,
I 100%
that's
believe that our biggest problem is Super Slam. I believe that we can sell out more. So it'll be good to see what the future holds.
I'm here for it every step of the way. Even though I'm over in the States, I always tell everybody in Australia, I ain't nothing but a DM away. And if it's within our power, brother, I will move motherfucking mountains, because I would not have what I have without Australia and without the wrestling scene in Australia. And I'm a dude that does not forget where I came from. This platform would not be a thing without you guys. This platform.
That's one thing as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. No matter where you are today, one thing is you should never forget where you came from, is what I can say. No matter where you are.
No, facts. And that's why I will legitimately do anything I can for Australia. And it's not just like with PWSA, Riot City. Like, every company down there has welcomed us with open fucking arms that we have tried to deal with or do anything with at all. And I think honestly it's because you guys know that we are legitimate. We have the best intentions.
Yeah.
We're not here for our fucking selves. I don't give a goddamn about being famous. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. It's not going to change who I am. It's not going to change what we're doing. And for Australia specifically, we would not be seen by over 1 million people a month if it wasn't for Australia, because that's where it started. And that's just, we started at fucking zero. And that's where we've grown in 2 years. And that's because we started with Australia and the scene in general there. And it's very special to me. And I will never lose sight of that.
I 100% love what you're doing. What you're doing for, the indie wrestling, not just indie wrestling, but wrestling as a whole. Just for the platform, you're able to expose a lot of people from all around the world and help them grow as well. So, and look, 16 years doing it, this is the first time I've ever done a sit down, talk with someone about, the career that I've had. So you must be doing something right if you're able to get me on here. So I keep the Colossus and my real self very, very separate, especially on social media. So to get me on, you've done something right. So and it's probably you love my theme song. So.
I figure I did something right when I got the track. I figured that's what I did. And then I know I did something right when you were like, hey, man, I just loop it. I was like, that's fucking fantastic. That's exactly what I'm going to do. 10 seconds. Here you go. And then it's the same 10 seconds, brother.
I could see from the very first moment you realized what it was, how much you actually enjoyed it. And, I was more than happy. Yeah, if you're, from Australia and 20 minutes away from me, I was told you get stuck.
He finally said it. He finally said the F word. Yes, it only took an hour. Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I feel so fucking bad.
I need to comment after that. I held it in pretty well.
You did great.
Usually it comes out every sentence, I'll tell you. But, I love what you're doing. So I'm more than happy to, flip it off to you and come on the show and talk about my life as a wrestler.
I'm ecstatic that we've just had the opportunity to sit down and chat, man. Like I get more out of these little conversations than most people even think, because I'm always absorbing information, and then I'm looking at different things, and I'll take this conversation and I'll apply it to when I'm watching you work, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. This is where this comes in.
Yeah.
Because I'm really big with psychology, man. I love the psychology of professional wrestling, and then you really get to dive deeper into it with some of these conversations, and being able to connect too. That's the other piece of it. Is it's one thing for guys to see me watching their stuff and reacting to it. It's something totally different to come in and just chat. because it's a different dynamic. It's whole different level. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, this is all about you guys, all of you. It's about all of
yeah,
you. Y'all are the ones that give us the number one that are out there now sacrificing your bodies every show. And a guy that has been there can understand and appreciate exactly what you're going through. And you're a big dude, so when I see you take bumps too, it's like, oh, because again, it's guys, if you've never felt, took a fall in the ring or took a bump in the ring, go do it and then come talk to me about it
yeah,
at your size, and then picture it times 2 or 3. And it's not, I mean, this is a lot of stuff. It's a collision. It's your body. You only get one of them. So yeah, man, I don't know. That's my rant. I just get one of them. I just used it. Let me ask you this: with the wrestling scene, and we'll start winding things down. Now keep in mind, think about these answers if you want to. If you need the time to think about them, by all means, go ahead and do it. Because every time I get conversations, this is where I always say that I can help. I can try to help you. Because
yeah,
at the end of the day, we don't have anything if we don't have you guys. And to be able to go from nothing to where we are now, and actually be able to connect people, which is the other thing. There's a lot that you guys see publicly, but there's also what you don't see that's behind the scenes is equally and more so than what we do with the power of the airways. But this is for me is again how I can help. And with wrestling being on fire everywhere, you're in Australia, whether it is in Australia or whether it's outside of Australia, where are some places that are on your radar that you would like to try and get out there and do some business with if you could get your foot in the water?
definitely traveling more interstate in Australia is, a really good goal of mine. That's something that, I could definitely for myself, put myself out there a bit more. Like I said, I'm not a big social media kind of person, and it's always easier to get out there if you are, expressing yourself a bit more. So from my end, just putting myself out there to the other companies in the state, and pretty much almost anywhere in Australia, I'm happy to work because just traveling in a state would feel like a nice little holiday for me. Um, I would like to work in Japan at some point. I think there's a lot of great places in Japan, and I think Australia has a pretty decent connection with Japan companies. So yeah, at this moment, just traveling interstate more. In South Australia, I'm ecstatic to be able to represent PWSA, but I would like to travel interstate more. And then yeah, Japan. Um, pretty much, I'll almost go anywhere. I just love entertaining people. I love wrestling. So yeah,
Brady says, "Get this man on a USA tour," and I say to
I'm
I say to that, that's a piece of why the live events are created on our side of the equation. And I've said this to a lot of people, and I mean it when I say it. If there's an opportunity that presents itself and you guys can get over to the States, just give me an advance notice. Because again, I what
yeah,
started in Australia has worked its way to the United States, and we have a lot of really reputable friends here as well. So if I know where you're going and where you're headed to, and you can put this in the ear of anybody that's out there that's going to come over to the States, as long as I know, I can reach out and I can try and help fill your
uh,
calendar.
I love what you guys are doing. I love the product that you're putting on, and I love seeing it grow from like you said, the first day of having nothing to flowering into a nice little road. So I know it's gonna grow in even a bit bigger direction. So yeah, one day I'm in the States, 100%.
Well,
Messaging you for little guy.
where's a fun fact as well, just so you're aware. I'm not just strictly confined to the United States to do live events. So if I can find a
All right.
partner,
Ooh.
PWSA, if I can find a partner that would be willing to split a cost of a show with me, whether it be the building, et cetera, I will bring some people from the United States and we can have a lot of fun together. And I'll leave that right there. And if you read in between those lines, Brady Roberts, you'll get in touch with me so we can set something up for early 2027. That's what I'll say to that,
I hope he
because
reads between the lines.
we're not confined anywhere, brother. That is the beautiful thing about what we're doing. And if we can come to Australia and get something done there, that's a big piece of business. And if I can bring some people here from the States that have some recognition and some notability, or some guys that are gonna be signed in the next 3 to 5, seems like a win-win the whole way around. And it's an easy thing to do. In that vein, I've got some places, and obviously some friends in Australia will get tagged for sure, because I need to see Colossus on a couple of shows, guys. Who are some people that are out there? And then it could really be, you know what, in Australia, let's start there first. And, we talk about doing some interstate traveling. Who are some opponents out there for you?
Um, oh, look, there's a lot of people in Australia I'd like to work. A lot of people that I have worked back in the day, 15 years ago, when I was getting into it, that I'd like to work now. Um, in Australia, one person that I would love to work with, who I think is the most underrated Australian wrestler right now, is Zach Davis.
Yes.
I would love to work with Zach Davis again. Great guy. I did work with him like 15 years ago. Ended up going to Riot City. But I think he's the most underrated wrestler in Australia. So off the top of the list, obviously, Zach Davis would be the number one that I'd like to work with. And there's a lot of people in SA that I haven't worked with that I'd like to. Obviously, I've pretty much worked everyone in PWSA. There are a lot of characters as well that I'd like to work with. One of them, you love him, Mr. Cliff.
Yes.
Just any time you work with Mr. Cliff, you're going to have a good time. He's a great guy. I'm just trying to think. I'm just going to go like 3 people. So there's a lot of people. For a third, in SA, sorry, I'm trying to like think of people that you've seen work. Probably I would say Matt Basso Grimm.
Yeah.
From Riot City.
Yeah.
He's a big guy as well. Been around, quite a few years longer than I have, but he can still go. And that's definitely someone that I'd like to see big clash of the giants. So if it happens, it happens at some point. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, there's 3 names just to throw there: Zach Davis, Mr. Cliff, Grimm.
Well, I'm gonna throw a couple more at you, because I kind of agree with Brady Roberts here. One of the names that he threw us, Bobby Bishop. I think for a mix of comedy and actual wrestling, I think the guy's got it. He's another cat that we do a lot of stuff with some of the stuff that he has going on in his part of the country. And a name that I'm gonna throw out there is a name that hit my radar last year, and I can't believe that I didn't see anything from this guy before then. That's Ben Braxton. I think that guy's fucking phenomenal. And seeing you and Braxton, he's a big dude as is, but you're bigger. Like, I mean, that just seems like it would be a throwdown, a hoss fight, if you will.
I would be very surprised if Braxton, one day wasn't picked up or signed by the WWE or anywhere, any major promotion. So that guy just has a look, he knows exactly what he's doing in that ring. He knows how to get the crowd in the palm of his hand. So yeah, they're definitely someone that I'd like to work with as well. So, but if you're looking for the total package of a wrestler, is 99% there.
Dude is, I mean, he is incredible. The things that he can do for his size, that you blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. And I could see him, and I haven't seen a bad match from him. Not just in Australia, in Newcastle as well. Like wherever he's got the championship, he's got a championship somewhere. I think it's Newcastle. I could be wrong. But wherever he's got that belt, it's just fantastic. He's a hell of a worker.
Yeah.
And those matches that you named out, I'm here for. I would love to see it. I would love to be a part of it. And Brady Roberts, if you need a sponsor to make one of those things happen, all you need to do is hit me up and let's see what we can do here. And make some things happen.
He's listening.
I know. I said it intentionally because I know he's there. And I mean what I say. I'm not here to fuck around. I'm here to help, and I'm here to help you guys. And if that's something that we can do, then we're going to do it. On the backside of that, man, here's my major question for you. And it's really how our platform continues to evolve and continues to grow, because there are hidden gems fucking everywhere, including Australia, that I have not seen, or maybe I have seen and just haven't seen deeper and looked deeper into. Who are some
Yeah.
people, according to you that we should be watching?
Look, I know you love him, Mr. Cliff, but I think Mr. Cliff definitely deserves more eyes on him. From all around the globe. Um, I'm very big with characters, so I think having you do like a sit down talk with someone like Corviday would
Yep.
be very interesting. Um, you know, loving characters. I also love Coach Cornell from Riot City. He just had a nice little feud with Mr. Cliff,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you would highly enjoy watching that. Um, Someone as well who's been it for a little bit, but she's still got everyone's got a long way to go, but she's doing really well. Leah Lovegrove. I think what she's doing at the
Yes.
moment, and I think you would just enjoy having that sit down talk with her. Um, she'd be very big with helping any platform grow that she's involved with. So just top of my head, Mr. Cliff needs more eyes on him. Coach Cornell, Leah Lovegrove. So I just love characters, and I think those are three characters in SA that deserve more eyes. So
Well, Mr. Cliff
and
is
Corviday as
Mr.
well.
Mr.
Just
Cliff
the
is
weird character that he is. I think everyone needs to see how weird he is. So
Mr. Cliff has been in your seat before. We've had him on the show. I had a fantastic time with him. Lucha Cliff, it will forever be ingrained in my memory. It was a night that he dressed up as a luchador, and I named him Lucha Cliff. And since then, that is now an inside joke. Lucha Cliff is like, I don't know, 29 millions, 362,000 world's heavyweight champion all over the world. It's fantastic. And Leah Lovegrove, I mean, you talk about somebody who came out firing on all cylinders. I saw her debut match, if I'm not mistaken. Was that against Mickey
yeah,
Fortune? I believe it was. I could be. If it's I think it's the right person. I hope it is. But it was fantastic, and I think she's got a huge upside. If I'm pretty
yeah.
positive it's the same person that I think it is. She's in Riot, right?
Yeah. Leah has wrestled for Riot before, and has wrestled at ACW, but it's more of a. I think Rampage might be her home place. I'm not too sure.
Then I may
But
have
yeah,
them
she's
confused.
definitely all over the place.
But I've seen Leah Lovegrove.
She did wrestle. Yeah, she did wrestle against Mickey Fortune like a month or two ago for the first ever women's ACW title. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
But I still may have her confused with somebody else. There's so many talented people there that I've seen, and I just can't keep them all straight. Do the best I can, guys. I do the best I can. I am a mortal man, after all.
you have a lot of names and a lot of stuff that you've been watching. So I honestly don't know how you're able to keep it all inside the head. I'll be forgetting everything.
I love wrestling at this point, and and when you again you go back to the platform, man, like to see, and me being the only guy outside of Dallas Dash and Chris Chaos who are workers in two different parts of the country here. No one else has been in the ring. No one else has any frame of mind or reference on professional wrestling and what it means. They're fans, right? Like
Yeah,
and to see these guys now, I'm gonna like Goth as an example, over in the Netherlands. Brother is older than me. He's handicapped. He's got one eye. He's going to shows now. He's going to the local shows. He's going to do this stuff. UK Paul, another guy that is one of our guys, obviously in the UK, is going to shows now, representing the channel, seeing them and being on shows with these guys and watching them fucking react, man. Like I'm a kid in a candy store every day of the week. Every day of the week. It's a different show, it's a different deal, it's a different situation, but seeing these guys, and then to be perfectly fair, man, seeing the love that they get back from the local talent. It
Yeah.
truly is. I tell people, you don't ever know what kind of difference you can make in somebody's life. And to see these guys get welcomed by, to be fair, it, professional wrestling is not always sunshine and rainbows. But to see them be welcomed in and to be, hugged back, dude, it's so gratifying. They keep me
Yeah.
going. They keep me running. I do this 40 hours a week at plus, and then I have a real job. I work 80, 90 hours a week. I do not complain one fucking bit because I see them and I see,
That's what I call passion.
yes, yeah, that's what this is, man. It's a passion project the whole way around. And
Yeah.
when you're in it for the right reasons, things happen. And I preach that to my guys all the time because it's so easy to get lost in the sauce or blinded by this or that or this metric or that metric. But if you stay the course and we do what we do, we're going to be successful. There's no denying it.
Yeah.
It's
And I cannot wait to see what it can become.
There's a lot. There's a lot that has not been talked about. There's a lot that hasn't been, that I can't talk about just yet. But there's some
Yeah.
things happening, man. And again, I circle back around to Australia, and when I think about everything and just how instrumental your country is to what we've been doing and how we've been doing it, and I'll do anything I can for you guys. I know I've said it several times before. I mean it. If it's within my power, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it because I don't have shit without y'all, and I'm a firm believer of that. Our numbers
And I
don't
hope you know
lie.
we appreciate it.
Not
Yeah.
as much as we do, man, because what started there has just branched out and we're on every continent. I mean, right now there
Yeah.
are 490 people watching this right now, starting at
Love it.
zero and jump into something like that on a stream. Keep in mind, we've been off for over a week.
Yeah.
Imagine if I hadn't took off to have to go to Southern California. It's just crazy to think about that kind of stuff when you sit down
Yeah.
and look at the bigger picture of things, and it blows my mind every day.
Yeah. Look, what you're doing, you're 100% on the right track. So, no words that we can put in as express how thankful we are for what you're doing for indie wrestling all around the place.
We're just
So,
we're
yeah,
just getting started.
thank you.
We're just getting started, brother. This is just
Full train ahead.
even with this conversation. Like, I understand when I have my first conversation with anybody, it's a surface scratcher. It is not intended to go too deep, too
Yeah.
quick, because I prefer to have you come back. I prefer to
Yeah.
circle back around. Obviously, when you get back into the ring and you kick Magny's ass, I need to have you back on so we can talk about that ass whipping that you gave him and
We're
and
doing it.
how that worked out for him at the end of the day.
I'm looking forward to it already. So I'll make sure I do what I do in the ring, and I'll tell you how it went. I'll tell you how much it kicked his ass.
Yep, you're gonna have to DM me that, and then I'm 99% sure that Paul will, or excuse me, Brady will send me the match or the show, and we're gonna watch it back too. I can't wait to see what else you do, man. You've already hooked us in. You've been so gracious and generous with me, just within conversations online and back and forth. It has been time for us to sit down and have this conversation, man. And I hope that you had a good
Pretty long.
time. I know that I did. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the people before we get ready to close things out?
First off, I've had a blast sitting down with you, having a chat. Like I said, it's been 16 years plus that I've been in the business, and this is the first real time I've done something like this. So, yeah, you're definitely doing something right. If you're able to have me sit down here and talk about my life, so pats on back. Just for people all around, Australia, the fans, just support local wrestling as much as you can, and it doesn't matter if it's just going to the shows or if it's going online and liking their pages and sharing their pages and whatnot. But yeah, if any fans do want to show you the love and support, just one thing is just can go to Facebook, Instagram. I've got an Instagram. What is it? Colossus _ Pro. So just going on there, giving a like, is a lot more help than they could know. So yeah.
Man, this has been an absolute blast. I cannot wait to circle back around and have you back on and pick right back up where we left off. And you're 100% correct. Guys, we say it every show. The easiest way that you can show your support is by sharing, and subscribing. Colossus's case, it's been on the screen the entire show, right underneath him. You have no reason not to have gone over there and smash that follow button. Check out what he's got going on. And while you're at it, look up PWSA as well. Give them a follow on the backside of that, because without these guys, we don't have anything to watch. So why not support, not just in your local markets, all over the world? Because there are indeed hidden gems everywhere, just like Colossus, just like a lot of the guys in PWSA, and just like a lot of the talent that's rocking down in Australia. Do your part. And if you're not following us, shame on you. CCP_podcasting, where you can catch us on Instagram. You'll see all of our clips, all of our reels, all of our highlights, all of our upcoming live events, anything and everything that we are doing with our live streams, our live events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You will all find it all right there. For my guest tonight, Mr. Colossus, I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Take it, having me.